Yeah, let me do one more, then we shall proceed. One more small concept here. Again, Dirac delta function, that's one of the important one. I mean, there are direct mathematical question, pure mathematical question on Dirac delta. You should know how to handle them, how to handle integrals involving Dirac delta. Again, do those problems, okay? 4.43, 4.40, I think, those two problems. Yeah, before getting into Dirac delta, we shall again take our very earlier function, r cap by r square. Do you remember? R cap by r square. It was a electric field. I mean, this vector field is a electric field due to a point charge at the origin. Am I right? When you place the point charge at the origin, isn't it? Suppose Q is at the origin. Suppose this is R vector. Then at this point, electric field will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So Q by R square into R cap. Am I right? R cap along that direction. So now we have taken divergence. Am I right? Divergence gave 0, answer 0. Am I right? What is del dot V? Now do it in spherical polar coordinate. Do it in spherical. 1 by r square sin square theta dou by dou theta r square Vr, isn't it? Can I write like this? Vr into r cap V theta 0, V phi is 0. Is that okay? So that's why r square into what is Vr? 1 by r square. Check it out. Equal to 0. Earlier we have shown, I think, using Cartesian coordinate. Am I right? Using Cartesian coordinate. So divergence. So now we better to use this one. Is that okay? We better to use this one because again, because this can be written like this, isn't it? Don't you feel that this should be handled in spherical polar coordinate, isn't it? Rather than writing in Cartesian coordinate. Too lengthy. So divergence equal to 0. But remember, this is an electric field generated by a point charge at the origin. Am I right? So now, yeah, divergence is 0, but we can't take derivative at r equal to 0. Why? It's not differentiable at r equal to 0. The vector field you can't take divergence of this vector field at r equal to 0. So that's why we have to fix this issue. Okay, we have to fix this issue. Again, we shall see that one. Again, that's by Gauss theorem. Wait a second. So now, can I write like this? Del dot V is equal to 0. Our conclusion when r not equal to 0. Am I right? That was our conclusion. Now look at here. Okay, why I have written theta dou by dou r. Only r part. R square into Vr. Am I right? R square into Vr. Just take it out. Wait a second. Now let me take this vector field. Now I am going to take Gauss theorem. Surface integral of vector field, that should be equal to volume integral of vector field. I mean volume integral of divergence of the vector field. Isn't it? We are going to use this one to fix this issue. Now look at here. So this part gives 0. Isn't it? We shall see what this part will give. Isn't it? If this part also 0, then okay. Whatever we have done, that's correct. But what we are expecting? We are expecting some non-zero. Why? So that is wrong. Am I right? That is not wrong. I mean, del dot V is not, it's not 0 everywhere, isn't it? It is non-zero at the origin. That was our, what you call, our idea. So now look at here. Now let me do this surface integral again. So while doing this surface integral, first we have to choose a surface. Again, choose spherical surface. Is that okay? So choose spherical surface centered at the origin with radius r or with radius capital R. Small r looks like a variable, isn't it? Let me take capital R. Is that okay? Now let me take surface integral of this one over this sphere centered at the origin. Is that okay? So now look at here, on that sphere, if you take any patch of area, what is the direction of that area vector? It is along r cap. dA vector, it is along r cap. What is that area vector which is along r cap in a spherical polar coordinate? R square sin theta d theta d phi. You have to remember that one. Is that okay? That is r square sin theta d theta d phi, or r cap, or write r cap here, h theta h phi d theta d phi. Am I right? This is dA along r cap, isn't it? Now at any point your dA vector can be defined like this. At any point on the surface your dA vector can be defined like this, but you have to put r square as capital R square. Why? You are on the surface of the sphere with a radius capital R, isn't it? So now look at here, what is the next step? I am going to do this vector, surface integral. This will give total flux, total outward flux. So over this surface, is that okay? Over this surface. So now look at here. So V, what is V? R cap by R square. What is dA over also on the surface at any point? R square sin theta d theta d phi r cap. Now I better to write one more thing. On the surface, what is my V vector? R cap by capital R square. Okay, why? Because R equal to capital R on the surface. Is that okay? So that's why I better to write capital R square, because I am talking only about the surface. R square R square. Is that okay? Again, closure surface integral. So now look at here, this got cancelled, r cap dot r cap 1. So then this becomes integral of sin theta d theta d phi. To cover entire region, you have to run theta from 0 to phi, phi from 0 to 2 phi. This will give 4 phi. It's a kind of solid angle, total solid angle, isn't it? That's 4 phi. Again, yeah, I hope you know that one. Theta from 0 to phi, phi from 0 to 2 phi. Do it again. If you are not getting that one, do it again. So I got this one non-zero. I got this one non-zero. Then how to fix this issue? Isn't it? This theorem should be always true. So we have taken del dot V that gave 0. So if this is 0, this whole volume integral is 0, isn't it? So then, this side is non-zero, this side is 0, isn't it? Then whether that theorem fails? Theorem will not fail. Okay, we need to edit this one. We need to edit this expression. That's the idea. So now, what we are going to, again, before getting into that one, I hope we have done something with the Dirac delta. Okay, so that's why, again, let me just briefly explain some property of Dirac delta. So let me pause here. Okay, we shall study a little bit about Dirac delta, then I'll come back to this one. Okay, now look at here. But you can say del dot V is equal to 0 except at the origin, am I right? So only Dirac delta is a function which is non-zero at one point and 0 everywhere else, isn't it? Only that can handle that situation. Okay, so now look at here again. So what is the definition of Dirac delta? I think I have taken earlier while studying Dirac delta function value in case of quantum mechanics. So now Dirac delta, it was defined as, actually it was limiting from some Gaussian function. I have taken like that. Just see it in the Wikipedia. Okay, you will just get this one. What is this one? Infinity when x equal to 0, 0 otherwise. Isn't it? Infinity when x equal to 0, 0 otherwise. Or you can define Dirac delta of x minus a. Infinity when x equal to a, 0 otherwise. How do you draw symbolically? Delta of x, you can symbolically draw it like this. You can symbolically draw it like this, delta of x as a function of x, delta of x minus a here, delta of x minus a. Sorry? Isn't it? But we had one more condition, do you remember? Delta of x was even function. Actually, it was a Gaussian with some limit. Look at here. I have drawn like Gaussian. That's why. Is that okay? I think it is some e power minus some x square by a square, a tending to 0 like that. That kind of function, which will fall off very quickly. So that's why Dirac delta, delta of x is a even function. Remember, delta of minus x equal to delta of x. Okay, so this is neither even nor odd. But when you draw this one, that's a even function. Okay, so now look at here. One more thing. Integral minus infinity to plus infinity, Dirac delta, that should be equal to unity. Area under the curve should be equal to unity. Same thing here. Integral minus infinity to plus infinity, delta of x, so x minus a dx, that's equal to 1. Wait a second. Now the question is, why we are unnecessarily integrating from minus infinity to plus infinity? Where Dirac delta is 0 outside region, isn't it? But remember, again, Dirac delta is a limiting function. Again, we have taken Gaussian, x square by a square. We put limit a tends to 0 to get Dirac delta. What is the range of Gaussian? Minus infinity to plus infinity. So that's why whenever the Dirac delta function appears, you have to run your integral throughout the region. But Dirac delta have the property, again, you should not call it as a function, you have to call it as a distribution, okay? Dirac delta distribution is because it's not well behaved function. Because it is touching infinity at that point, isn't it? Function should be always well behaved. So that's why. So you can call it as a Dirac delta distribution, and that distribution is touching infinity at only one point. It is high at only one point. It is 0 outside. Now. Now, that is one-dimensional Dirac delta. Am I right? Look at here. One more thing that we do here is, what is the unit of Dirac delta then? We will always try to make this one unitless. I have taken that idea in quantum mechanics to define unit of so dimension of wave function. Am I right? Dimension of Dirac delta is inverse of dimension of this one. X can be anything. Am I right? So here it is our position. Is that okay? Here x is our position. I mean, it's a length. So that's why Dirac delta should be per length, so that we will always try to make this one unitless. You have to note that one. Delta of x dx should be unitless. Should be dimensionless, not unitless. I'm not using the dimension and unit properly. Isn't it? Unitless means not a good word. Dimensionless. Dimensionless. Okay. So just take that idea. Somewhere we have a question like that. Okay. What is the unit of Dirac delta? Area under the curve equal to 1. Okay. That is other property. This is a property of Dirac delta. Now it has one more property that we need to use later. Okay. So actually, sometimes we better to say Dirac delta lives only inside the integral. Okay, outside that one, it is so again we are not going to use that separate Dirac delta usually. Inside the integral, its behavior is very well defined. So delta of x, if you multiply with f of x, that is equal to actually delta of x into f of 0. Is that okay? It will behave like that. Or delta of x minus a into f of x is equal to delta of x into f of a. Sorry, delta of x minus a delta of x minus a into f of a. And somewhere in some problem we are going to use this one, okay. And next, the main property here, f of x into delta of x dx, f of x into delta of x dx. Now here delta of x, it will be spike at x equal to 0, am I right? Now let me take minus delta minus epsilon to plus epsilon. That's equal to f of 0. Where epsilon is positive. Shall I take like that? You don't have to integrate actually minus infinity to plus infinity. Is that okay? You don't have to integrate from minus infinity to plus infinity. He might have written that one, but in the problem it will be very clear. Okay, usually he will write minus infinity to plus infinity like that. Now look at here, in the very next step, according to this rule, can I write it like this? Minus epsilon to plus epsilon, f of 0 into delta of x dx. Okay. Now look at here, look at the trick here. F of 0 outside, minus epsilon to plus epsilon, delta of x dx. Now you have to ask question. I have written this minus infinity to plus infinity equal to 1. How I can write that one equal to 1? Now what I do? I am going to extend the limit from minus infinity to plus infinity. Why? Dirac delta is 0 outside the region. Is that okay? Any question? So that's why again I can, that is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity delta of x dx. Delta of x dx. So there is not much difference because outside it is 0. So that's why that is equal to f of 0. This is equal to f of 0. Similarly, so f of x into delta of x minus a dx, okay, a minus delta, a minus epsilon to a plus epsilon. Or that may be minus infinity to plus infinity also. If our integral crosses the point where Dirac delta is pi, then it will be equal to f of a. Wait a second, let me write in this way. Integral a to b f of x into delta of x minus x naught dx. Let me define it like this. Okay, Dirac delta is spike at x naught. Now that is equal to, I better to define that function like this. So that is equal to f of x naught if x naught is between a to b. Can I write like this? If x naught, I mean the point where Dirac delta is pi, if our integral runs in that region, then it will be f of x naught. Otherwise it is 0. Otherwise means x will be either less than a or x will be either greater than b. I mean, sorry, x naught. I mean, x naught is outside a to b. If x naught is outside a to b, so then obviously that integral should be 0. Why? So so it is like that. Suppose your x naught is somewhere here. You have a to b here. Okay, you are integrating in this region where you are multiplying Dirac delta. Dirac delta is 0 from a to b. Is that okay? So that's why you will get 0. Are you getting this idea? You need this one. You have to apply this one. But write just otherwise. If x naught is between a to b, or if the point at which Dirac delta is a spike is within our limit of the integration, then it will choose the function at that point. You better say like that. You better remember like that. What Dirac delta will do? It will choose the function at the point where it is spike. Okay? In the integration, it will choose the function at the point where it is spiked. Over. So the problem comes if Dirac delta is at one of the edge of your limit. Okay, let me try to handle that one. There are questions, I think in some exam I have seen that kind of question. Sometimes Dirac delta will come to one of the edge of our limit, then the problem comes actually. Okay, now wait a second. Anyway, here we don't have that kind of situation. Again, he defined some more theorems. Okay, evaluate the integral like that. So can you quickly do this one? Integral 0 to 3 x cube delta of x minus 2 dx. First thing that you have to look at it is that whether x equal to 2 is within your limit or not, isn't it? Yeah, x equal to, yeah, Dirac delta is spiked within this one. So that's why what it will do? It will choose x cube at x equal to 2. Am I right? 2 cube. Suppose if I do like this, 0 to 1 x cube into delta of x minus 2 dx. What is this one? 0. Why? Within that region where you are integrating, Dirac delta is 0. Throughout the region of your integration, Dirac delta is 0. That's why it should be 0. Okay? So within this region, you get that spike. That's why it will choose the function at that point. Remember like that in a sentence. Okay? So my experience is, I mean, whenever you remember in a sentence, you can remember for a long time. Okay? Property of Dirac delta is it will choose the function at the point where it is spiked. Remember like that. Over. Now I hope you got this definition. He hasn't given this one. So this is, just take this one. Okay? General integral. Now do example number 1.44. Let me share one page from Wolfram Alpha, or just search in Wolfram Alpha, or just search in Google Dirac delta properties of Dirac delta. You will get one Wolfram Alpha page. You have to list out some more properties. Okay, yeah. So now look at here. I have one more property of Dirac delta. He has given that one as a problem. Delta of kx rescaled. That will be 1 by mod of k into delta of x. That is problem number 1.15. Example number 1.15. He has given the solution. Just see that one. Or you can just have a note on this one. You just have to remember this one. Now let me take one more here. Integral 2 to 6. Integral 2 to 6. 3x square minus 2x plus 1. Minus 1, sorry. 3x square minus 2x minus 1. Delta of x minus 3 dx. First thing that you have to look at is, yeah, where Dirac delta is spiked. Dirac delta is spiked at x equal to 3. And yeah, 3 is between the limit, within the limit. That's why it will choose the function at x equal to 3. 3 square minus 2 into 3 minus 1. What is this one? 27. 3 cube. 27 minus 6 minus 7. 20. No, this is not a big deal. You better do this one. Delta 9x square, look at here, minus 1 to plus 1, 9x square. There are questions like that, okay? This is problem set 1.44, problem set 1.15, 1.45, okay? Just do both of set. So again, some more type of problems are needed, but for that, I mean, we need some more property. Let me just share those properties. So 9x square delta of 3x plus 1. Now what will you do? Yeah, 3 common. Yeah. What is that one? Integral minus 1 to plus 1, 9x square delta 3x plus 1 dx. What did you say? Minus 1 to plus 1, 9x square. Take 3 common inside. Okay. So take 3 common, that becomes x plus 1 by 3. Now go for this rule. The same thing is true if your x is replaced by x minus a. Is that okay? So now what will happen? Minus 1 to plus 1, 9x square. What is this one? 1 by mod 3 into delta of x plus 1 by 3 dx. What is delta of x plus 1 by 3? That is a spike at x equal to minus 1 by 3. Minus 1 by 3. You have to see that one as x minus of minus 1 by 3. Isn't it? So that's why 9 by 3 integral minus 1 to plus 1. What is this one? X square delta of x minus of minus 1 by 3 dx. Then what it will do? It will choose the function at the point. Isn't it? What is that one? Minus 1 by 3 square 1 by 3. No, then you will get the other answer. Check it out. Minus 1 by 3 the whole square. Am I right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's wrong. I mean, you have to take 3 common, remember. You are equating this one to 0, am I right? No, that is only when delta of x minus a type. You have to make it as delta of x minus a type. Can you just check out so you have solution manager? Quickly. Problem number 1.45C. 1.45C. Yeah, that's correct. There are old questions like that. 1.45C. Are you going to search 1.45 in the PDF? Okay? Is that okay? You have to write in that way. I mean, if it is like this, you can say it is spike at x equal to minus. It's a kind of rescaling. It's a kind of rescale like this. Is that okay? So delta of x plus 1 by 3 multiplied with 3. That's how you have to see that one. Substitution. That also works. Yeah, that also works. Substitution also works. Okay, good idea. Again, one more thing is Dirac delta of some quadratic. Can you search? Ax square plus bx plus c. There are questions like that. Now, there is one property in Wolfram alpha. Just list out that one, okay? Let me discuss later. This kind of problem. Except this kind of problem, we can do all other problems here. So, there are no problem like that he mentioned. But there are problems in the old question paper. So, just search in Wolfram alpha. So, grab the how to handle this kind of Dirac delta. How to write that one. Okay? Let me upload one file on it. Yeah, it is there. Okay? That property is there in Wolfram alpha. I have seen. And one more very important property of Dirac delta. Again, we better to invest a time on this Dirac delta one day, okay, separately. We better collect all old questions or at least while revising, okay. So, if you have an integral if you have an integral, let me take minus infinity to plus infinity, it's better, okay, so that I'm very safe. Let me write f of x into d by dx of Dirac delta. Any idea? Anywhere you have seen this one property? Derivative will transfer to the, again, remember, I remember everything in a sentence, okay? Derivative will be transferred to the function with one more negative sign, okay? So this will be equal to minus infinity plus infinity df of x by dx into delta of x dx, okay? So now if you keep on doing this one, minus infinity to plus infinity f of x into nth derivative of delta of x dx, that's equal to, any idea? Minus 1 power n into integral nth derivative of f of x into delta of x dx. A special case of this property is discussed in problem number 1.46. Kind of that one, but better not to go for that one because Dirac delta is very strange here. Okay, a Dirac delta cannot be, it can be a wave function, Dirac delta, normalized wave function, isn't it? But Dirac delta is a realistic wave function. We have taken those stands by different scientists in the very beginning of the quantum mechanics. Do you remember? A released position, agnostic position, and then one more, orthodox position, isn't it? So Dirac delta, I mean, is a kind of, you can say particle is there, isn't it? If wave function is Dirac delta, you can say particle is there because wave function is non-zero only at one point. Wave function is zero everywhere else, okay? Yeah, Dirac delta can be a kind of realist wave function. What is the standard deviation of Dirac delta? Distribution, yeah? Am I right? If I say it is as a distribution, what's the standard deviation? Yeah, so he's saying in that mathematical physics book, he listed out all property of Dirac delta. So just list out them, that's better, okay? Yeah, but better to again go through Wolfram Alpha website. You may list out some more property, okay? The whole page is on Dirac delta property. Just see that one. We shall do some more on this one later. Right now, for our theory, we don't need that much, okay? And do problem number 1.46 A and B. Or have a note on that one. Have a note on this one, A and B. One is this kind of property. Other one is Dirac delta is actually derivative of unit step function. Okay, derivative of unit step function that will become Dirac delta. Obviously, whenever you have unit step function, it is like this: 0 here, 1 here. Okay. Now look at here. Derivative is 0 here, 0 here. We call this one as theta of x. I have a function like this. If I take derivative, what would happen? Derivative is 0 here, here, and here. But derivative is very high here, infinity here. Am I right? Slope is infinity at this point, rising edge. So that's why it's a Dirac delta. What is this one? D theta by dx. That's Dirac delta. So problem number 1.46b. Just have a note on each and every of the every property. You don't have to prove much. Okay, you should have a logic on this kind of problem. And whatever the problem he has given, 1.44 and 1.45, do it complete. Okay, there are a lot of problem in GATE exam. Yeah, speak out. Dirac delta in one dimension, but we were talking about 3 dimension. Am I right? In case of that vector field, we were talking about 3 dimension. So how to define Dirac delta in 3 dimension? Delta cube of R vector. 3-dimensional point should be represented by a position vector. Am I right? We have written delta of x. X is one point on x axis. Now we have to talk about point in space. That's why we are going to write delta cube of r vector. Delta cube of r vector. This is nothing but delta of x, delta of y, delta of z. Where your position vector can be written like this. Am I right? X comma y comma z. Or x cap, y cap, z cap. Isn't it? Three-dimensional direct delta. Again, what is the normalization condition? I said normalization automatically. So or I can write like this. I can write like this: delta cube of r into d tau integral over all space, entire region. So r you can write it as minus infinity to plus infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity, delta of x, delta of y, delta of z, dx, dy, dz in Cartesian coordinates. Isn't it? That should be equal to 1. Okay? That should be equal to 1. Similarly, integral of f of r. What do you mean by a scalar function of a vector r? That means it's a function of x, y, z. It's a function of x, y, z into Dirac delta cube of r minus a. Wait a second. Delta cube of r vector. Actually, I haven't defined. Here also skip that one. How do you define delta cube of r? It is infinity when r vector equal to 0 or at the origin. Or when x equal to 0, y equal to 0, z equal to 0. Am I right? That's our origin. So it is 0 otherwise. It is 0 otherwise. Dirac delta cube of r. So it is 0 everywhere except at 0, 0, 0. Can you define it like this? It is 0 everywhere except at origin 0, 0, 0. So similarly, look at here, delta cube of r minus a vector. Why I have written a vector? A vector is some other position. R vector is generally variable position. A vector is some other position. That's equal to infinity when your position vector is equal to a vector. So 0 otherwise. Is that okay? What is the next property? Integral f of r vector, some scalar which is a function of x, y, z, we used to write like this, into delta cube of r minus a vector d tau. I better take integral over all space so that I'm safe. Okay, all space. So that will be equal to, any idea? F of a vector. I mean, now again, don't get confusion why I have written scalar as a function of vector. It's a position vector. That means f is a function of x, y, z. That's what I want to say. Okay? F of a vector means function at that point in space, that particular point in space. Yeah. So now, to fix our earlier problem, we are going to use Dirac delta property. Look at here. If you integrate Dirac delta over all space or over the region where Dirac delta is spike, Dirac delta is touching infinity, then you are getting 1. Am I right? So now, do you remember? Yeah, we have taken v vector is equal to r cap by r square. Am I right? We got surface integral over the surface of radius, over a spherical surface of radius capital R. We got v bar dot dA bar. What was this one? 4, 5. We got this one 4, 5. Am I right? And we got this was del dot v d tau, isn't it? We got this one 0. Now we need to fix this one, isn't it? But this should be also 4, 5. Am I right? If these two are equal, this is the volume within that spherical surface. If these two are equal, then I mean these two should be equal according to our mathematical theorem, Gauss theorem. So that's why if this is 4, 5, this should be 4, 5. And we know one thing, this is 0 outside the origin. Isn't it? Del dot V, it was 0 outside the origin. Outside the origin, we are allowed to take the derivative. Only origin was our problem. Am I right? So only Dirac delta can fix this one. Look at here. If you write, in place of del dot V, if I write 4, 5 into delta cube of R vector, isn't it? 4, 5 will come out. Integral of delta cube of R d2, that will be 4, 5. Isn't it? That will fix that one. Now look at here. While fixing that one, we have accepted that theorem, Gauss theorem. We have accepted that one. So to make that equality, to fix that problem, we have taken del dot V as 4, 5 delta cube of R. Del dot V is equal to 4, 5 delta cube of R. Okay? Otherwise, Gauss theorem will be failed. Isn't it? Again, now look at here. It is 0 outside origin. Isn't it? That's what we got earlier. Our derivative formula, so it can take derivative only when it is finite, remember. When it is infinity, we can't take derivative. That's why whatever we got earlier, that was correct, but not at the origin. Okay, at the origin it's a kind of Dirac delta. Okay, can you remember? So del dot R cap by R square, write it like this. 4, 5 delta cube of R vector. Yeah, that's 0 outside the origin, but at the origin there is Dirac delta. Why that 4, 5? To fix Gauss theorem. Not to fix Gauss theorem, to make it to follow Gauss theorem. Okay, Gauss theorem is always true. Gauss theorem is always true because it's a kind of conservation, remember. This is a flux density, this is a net outward flux, it's a kind of conservation. So now the next point is del dot R cap by R square. I'm going to write as 4, 5 delta cube of italic R. That's it. Because in case of general electric field formula, we will get R cap by R square. So italic R cap by italic R square, isn't it? In case of electric field, due to point charge at the origin, you will get this one. If you place a charge somewhere else, or if you choose origin somewhere else, then you will get your vector like this, then you have to write it like this. Okay? Now look at here. Electric field due to any charge distribution at position R, 1 by 4, 5 epsilon naught, 1 by 4, 5 epsilon naught, yeah, integral of, yeah, so I asked standard deviation of Dirac delta, that is 0, okay, so it has no thickness, or you start with that Gaussian function that I had given, e power minus x square by a square, find the standard deviation, okay, then just put limit a tends to 0, you will get 0, okay, yeah. Now 1 by 4, 5 epsilon naught, what is this one? Rho of R prime vector d2 prime divided by R square into R cap, isn't it? So we have taken origin somewhere here, we have charge distribution somewhere here, we have taken small elementary volume, is that okay, d2, we have taken this one as R prime, we have taken this one as R, Do you remember? This was italic R from source to field point. And our R prime is variable. You have to run the integral over all possible region of that source charges. Is that okay? When you run this one, when you vary this R prime, this italic R and that italic R cap also varies. Okay. Now what I do here is I am going to take del dot E. That's equal to 1 by 4 phi epsilon naught del dot integral rho of R prime d tau prime R cap by R square. Yeah, I think I need one more property from again our earlier vector calculus. Again, I am getting into electrostatic. One small derivation here. Okay. Small derivation. Derivation of differential form of Gauss law directly. Wait a second. Now I have to ask one question. What is this italic R? R minus R prime vector. I am taking gradient. That means that those are derivative with respect to x, y, z or x prime, y prime, z prime. Are you getting my point? You have primed coordinate here, you have unprimed coordinate here. Field point is unprimed coordinate, source point is primed coordinate. Now I have taken gradient of electric field. Derivative with respect to which coordinate? X, y, z or x prime, y prime, z prime? Speak out. We are finding electric field here. We are finding gradient at this point, remember. That was our field point actually. This derivative is with respect to x, y, z. Is it okay? This derivative is with respect to x, y, z. That's why whatever the function of R prime, you can take that one outside. Is that okay? Del dot this one, I can take this one inside. I can write like this 1 by 4 phi epsilon naught integral of rho of R prime d tau prime. I can take one side. I can write as del dot y. This R vector that depends on x, y, z. Derivative is with respect to x, y, z, not x prime, y prime, z prime. Or the derivative is related to this position vector, not related to the source points. Is that okay? Later in electric fields in matter chapter, I am going to define derivative with respect to source point while defining polarization or something. Okay? I am going to define derivative with respect to R prime. Here it is derivative with respect to R. That means derivative with respect to x, y, z. We are finding divergence of an electric field at some point in space here. You are finding electric field and you are finding what you call divergence of that electric field. Okay, it has nothing to do with R prime vector or source, this derivative. So that's why I can write like this. Now what is this one? Speak out. 4 phi delta cube of italic R. So rho of R prime d tau prime. Now look at here, what would happen? Again, rho and delta are getting confused. Yeah, rho of R prime vector. Observe this one carefully. 1 by epsilon naught, 4 phi got cancelled. Integral of rho of R prime delta cube of R vector d tau prime. When you integrate, you are running R prime so over various regions. Am I right? You are going to integrate this one. Now what I do here is I am going to run this integral throughout the region actually. All space. Entire region. Why? Outside that one this is 0 anyhow. Is that okay? Outside that one that is 0 anyhow. So now look at here, this this integral, again, it is just like our earlier integral. Look at here. Wait a second. Let me just draw it again. Integral f of r delta cube of r minus a. What was this one? Yeah. What is the mistake? Wait a second. What is the mistake? Delta cube of italic r. Am I right? Delta cube of italic r here is equal to f of a. Am I right? I am going to use this rule. Look at here. Look at here. 1 by epsilon naught. 1 by epsilon naught. I better to write delta of r italic r vector as r vector minus r prime vector. In the integral, r prime is variable. In the integral, r prime is variable. Rho of r prime vector. So it is even function. That's why I can just interchange this one. Delta of r vector is same as delta of minus r vector. Italic r vector. Is that okay? So that's why I can write this one as delta cube of r prime minus r vector. D tau prime. Isn't it? Whenever you write a d tau here, you are this is variable. Am I right? That is constant. Now you can take, this is the Dirac delta which is spike at r, isn't it? Or this, in this whole integral, if I just apply that property, that will become 1 by epsilon naught rho of r vector. This Dirac delta will choose this function at r prime equal to r. Is that okay? So that is our differential form of Gauss law. Del dot E of r vector is equal to rho of r vector divided by epsilon. So remember, this is a point operation. You are going to take this derivative at some point in space. If there is charge density in that space, you will get a divergence, otherwise zero. Why? Electric fields are always created by the charges, remember. It's not created or ended at air. Isn't it? I can just say that one by just seeing this one, isn't it? Whenever there is a charge density, you will have divergence of electric field in that region. Charge density is zero means divergence of electric field is zero. You can't say electric field is zero. Remember, don't say electric field is zero. You can say divergence of electric field is zero. Divergence exists only when there is a source. Can I say like that? Divergence exists only when there is a source. This automatic expression. Actually, we better start from this one, actually, isn't it? Now look at here, pure mathematical step. So this is our Coulomb's law, isn't it? So vector calculus, we got this one. Again, apply Gauss divergence theorem to write that one in terms of your what you call integral form of Gauss law. That's the best idea. No question comes. Now, let me again, we shall finish out, do some more problem on Dirac delta and again Gauss law, whatever I mentioned. Now, my question is, what is the charge density of a point charge? Can you think over it? Or just see that one, he discussed that one also in some problem. What is the charge density of point charge? No, charge density. I'm asking charge density. Yeah, now look at here. If you want to apply this one, suppose, isn't it? If you want to apply this one, he has given somewhere, okay? Just read it very carefully. I have a charge somewhere here at r prime. Okay, this is my field point. My italic one. How do you write? Charge density now. To apply that one. This one. I mean, I have reversed that one. Again, that is a property. F of minus, delta of minus x equal to delta of x. Am I right? So, how to say? I have to start with this one. I have to start with it. The Dirac delta of r, delta cube of r is defined as delta of x, delta of y, delta of z. Am I right? If you change r to minus r, that means changing x to minus x, y to minus y, z to minus. In that case, not getting. Yeah. Okay. That's correct. Outside the origin. Am I right? But you can write delta of x minus a is equal to delta of a minus x. Both are same. Why? What is the difference? Delta of minus x minus a minus 1 here. Again, one more property divided by mod k. Isn't it? Those properties will allow us to write this one. So can I write like this? Now 1 by minus 1 mod delta of x minus a. That's what I am saying. Okay, those properties will allow us to write like this. Why I interchange that one? Okay, there will be no more negative sign or something. Okay, you can do like that. Yeah, you can't say symmetric everywhere. Only with respect to origin you can talk about symmetry. But that kind of properties allow. Just remember like that. You can just reverse that one. You can put one more negative sign inside that one. Because of this property again. Because of this property, 1 by mod k delta of x. You can put one more negative sign inside. You can throw one more negative sign. Okay, it will not affect it. Mod k here. Okay, mod k. Just see the derivation of this one. So it's a solved problem. Or at least tell me what is the divergence of electric field for this particular problem. Electric field will diverge from this charge, am I right? Divergence should be 0 everywhere except at this point. You can write a rho of r prime as 4 phi or q into, I don't know whether I have to put 4 phi or not, just check it out. Delta cube of r prime the charge density is very high at r prime, at r equal to r prime. I better write a vector here, okay? A vector here. Is that okay? No, not even like that. Wait a second, not even like that. Delta cube of r prime minus a vector. Can I write like that? Now look at here. When r prime is other than a vector, your charge density is 0. When r prime is a vector, your charge density is infinity actually. Point charge have got infinite charge density at the point. Is that okay? At the point. So that's why I think you have to write like this, or one more 4 5 may come. Just check it out, okay? Solve some problem on that. Charge density of a point charge. So this is, italic r is r vector minus r prime vector only, okay? So this is delta of r vector minus r prime vector, okay? But I can throw one more negative sign, that is allowed. Just check it out, okay? There is some problem just outside this Dirac delta problem. Just see that one. Wait a second. Yeah, problem number 1.47. Do problem number 1.47. Find the expression for volume charge density of a point charge. And try example number 1.16. Let me do it later. 1.16. Solved problem. Whenever we got r cap by r square, those kind of integrals should be handled with a care. R cap by r square. Why? It will involve Dirac delta somehow. Okay. There are problems in exam also. Again, that's again second or third chapter problem. Where while doing that one, you will get r cap by r square. That should be handled with care. If you do without taking care, you will get wrong answer. Okay. So that is this example. In this example, he tried to convince that one. Okay, do that problem. I think that is sufficient. We shall see in the evening. Now he mentioned theory of vector field. I mean, listing out all of that one. I mean, recapping everything. He has given theorem 1 and theorem 2. So those should be like, you have to by heart that one. By hearting means you should able to use them just like addition and subtraction. Is that okay? Theorem 1 and theorem 2 at the end. Just see that one. You have to use this one. Use those two theorem. I mean, just like whenever curl is 0, you can write that vector field as gradient of some other scalar like that. Those should be obvious for you now onwards. Okay. Again, throughout that electrodynamics, we are going to use that. Yeah, we shall see in them.